Effective selling ultimately comes down to a few key skills. And so by having those right skills, we can significantly increase both our sales and our take-home incomes. And I see it all the time. Salesperson 1 is selling without those skills and is just getting by. Salesperson 2 has those skills and is ultimately able to make more money and live the lifestyle that they actually want. So in this video, I'm going to show you the most important sales skills that you must master now. Check it out. Number 1, leverage a process. I cannot tell you how many salespeople and small business owners are out selling right now and they are just winging it. It's crazy because let's face it, every other profession requires real education in order to do what they do, right? In order to become an attorney, you have to go to law school, you have to pass the bar, you typically have to intern with law firms, right? In order to become a CPA, you need to go to college for becoming a CPA, and then you need to pass the CPA exam, then you need to work at a big firm, right? But in sales, it's literally just, are you willing to do it? Whether you're a business owner or a salesperson, most people are just making up the process as they go along. Maybe you've read a couple of books, but without having a step-by-step process that you can follow consistently in order to reliably close sales, you are going to struggle. So having a process that you follow time and time again will be huge to your success. Number 2, demonstrate insight upfront. Now, have you ever been in a selling situation where you start asking your prospect questions and they don't really know who you are? And in a minute or two into the conversation, they finally say, you know what, can you just show me what you do? This happened because you started pegging your prospect with questions and they started to get frustrated because there was no value presented or demonstrated upfront in the beginning of the conversation. This happens particularly with cold prospects who just don't know who you are. So when it comes to having conversations with those cold air prospects, we need to be ready to demonstrate real insight upfront. What is a little bit of a piece of content that you can share with your prospect that's not talking about your pricing or how your company has been in business for 375 years, but instead is a real piece of valuable content that you can show them that will get them to really open up and be willing to answer your questions. Number 3, know the questions. Now, once you've demonstrated the insight, now it's time to get into the questions that you need to understand to really fully, as we say, disqualify prospects. So knowing those questions up front is really important because most prospects are going to have relatively similar situations. And so you're going to want to have a set of consistent questions that you ask prospects to take them through a process to ultimately determine if they're a fit and at the same time, build real value. So scripting out those questions ahead of time is going to be key to make it look like you're not just kind of figuring it out, but you really know what's going on. Number 4, dig way deeper. Now, this is one of the biggest differentiators in terms of skills between average salespeople versus high level, is the ability to dig deeper when prospects are answering your questions. So if a prospect just says, something like, oh yeah, this year things have been really slow, most salespeople say, oh yeah, it's really slow, right? And then they go on to the next question. But a high level black belt salesperson is going to say something like, well, when you say it's been really slow, unpack that for me. Or tell me more about what you're seeing right now. The ability to spontaneously dig deeper is a really, really high level skill that is going to both demonstrate that you really know what you're talking about and is going to help the prospect identify the real value of working with you. Number 5, hold your ground. Now, when you use a process, naturally, some prospects are going to resist being in your process. And so most salespeople and business owners, when a prospect pushes back on their process, they immediately cave. And then they just go into the old school pitch mode. And it's like they do the dancing monkey kind of a routine. But what we need to do is make sure that we are holding our ground. We need to stay strong to our process. So even when a prospect resists being a part of the process, we are able and willing to hold our ground. Because the reality is prospects are often wrong. The old adage that the customer is always right is not true. Prospects are often wrong and they don't know what they need. So the ability to hold your ground like a doctor who's taking a patient through a process is so important. Number 6, show you can solve. Now, what this means is we don't want to just jump into our feature and benefit presentation that's exactly the same for every single person after we've asked some questions. That's just giving a canned pitch. What we want to do is we want to demonstrate that we can solve the challenges that they mentioned in the earlier part of the conversation. So when you're able to show that you can solve those challenges, now the prospect is going to think, wow, this solution is exactly what I need. So that doesn't mean that you have to show every single thing that you offer. It means that you just focus on demonstrating you can solve the challenges mentioned and then stop talking. Showing you can solve is going to close way more deals than the standard feature and benefit pitch. Number 7, be NSO. NSO stands for Next Step Obsessed. The more obsessed we are with next steps in every conversation we're in, the better off we're going to be. And one of the key sales skills is really being able to consistently schedule that next step. Because so many sales simply fall apart because there was no scheduled next step. We've all been in that situation before. So by being really firm and obsessed with having a next step, you are so much more likely to ultimately keep that deal on track. It's one of the simplest yet most important sales skill you can have to make sure that the sale stays fully on the path that it needs to be on. So there are the most important sales skills you must master now. And if you enjoyed this video, then I have an amazing free training on the step-by-step formula to closing more deals. Just click right here to get registered instantly. Seriously, just click right here. This is an in-depth training that will help you close more deals at higher prices, all while generating more meetings. Also, if you got some value, please like this video below on YouTube and be sure to subscribe by clicking my face, which should be right about here, to get access to a new video just like this one each week.